What is up, guys, and welcome to the Immerseus Arcane Mage Guide. In this guide, I'm going to be covering everything you need to know as an Arcane Mage for the normal and heroic difficulty mode of this encounter, and so that you know what talents, glyphs, and tips and tricks that we have as an Arcane Mage to really slam out some amazing DPS. Okay, the first thing that you want to know is Immerseus, is it's a single target fight, but we do have a bunch of adds that we can get to. So let's get into talents first, okay? Talent-wise, we're definitely going to be taking Temporal Shield on this one. It's just overall, I think it's a little bit higher quality because you get that burst damage that comes out. Ice Barrier will save you a little bit more, but you don't get that heal back that the Temporal Shield will provide, so I recommend going that way. If you do want to play it a little bit safer, you can always go down below and take Greater Invis over Cauterize, so that way you can pop Greater Invis as he's reforming and he does all that burst pulse damage. Then you can just pop your Greater Invis and be fine. Okay, bomb-wise, we want Living Bomb. Why do we want Living Bomb? Because it's a single target fight, and Living Bomb does more single target damage, period, end of story. Okay, the other thing is there's not really a ton of movement involved in this fight, except for maybe in the add phase, but we're not worried about movement in the add phase because we're doing one thing and one thing only, and that's spamming Arcane Explosion. I'll get into that in just a minute. Glyph-wise, for glyphs for this fight, we definitely want Double Blink. That's going to be extremely beneficial. I think Evocation's really nice for this fight. And then the other one is Cone of Cold or Arcane Explosion. You do need one of them. I recommend Arcane Explosion. If you do not want to use Double Blink, you can always use Cone of Cold instead. And those are pretty much your options as far as glyph goes. You can mix and match those whatever way works best for your class. But Double Blink and Arcane Explosion are the two absolutely mandatory ones. So keep that in mind. The reason that they're mandatory is as this fight goes, obviously you're bursting Immerseus down right off the start. You get that big nice combustion, that big heroism, that big bloodlust, slamming out all the deeps into him. But the thing that you want to watch out for is as you see his health start to drop, make sure that when he goes under that you're at 4 stacks. When those adds start to spawn, that you're about to be at 4 stacks, okay? And the reason you want to be at 4 stacks of Arcane Energy is because then we're going to start Arcane Explosioning our face off. This is why we want the glyphs, because those little adds, we want that 4 stack. We want to be pumping out Arcane Explosions onto all those little adds as hard and as fast as we can. If you have a Death Knight who grips them in, this is where Cone of Cold comes in. That would be the best time to use it. As soon as that Death Knight grips all those adds in, you Cone of Cold and get that huge burst damage into them and then go back to spamming Arcane Explosion until they die. You will do an absolute ton of damage to the adds if you do this properly, but you need to be at 4 stacks. That is the biggest trick to this fight, is being at 4 stacks during the add phase on heroic. For normal mode, you don't get those adds. Not as big of a deal. Again, your glyphs might change in normal mode as you don't have to deal with those big add packs, so keep that in mind. The other things that you want to know is obviously after that it's just rinse and repeat, but the main way that you're going to do a ton of DPS on this fight is to make sure that when those adds are coming out that you have all 4 stacks ready to go and ready to blast into the adds that are coming out and to get them down as quickly as possible. Remember, we don't have any dots that we're applying. We're just slamming that Arcane Explosion button and just absolutely destroying those adds. We're amazing for this, so that's where we're going to be best to utilize as an Arcane Mage. The other things, obviously, Arcane Mages, we're using Ice Flows pretty much on every fight. That's a given. But the only time we're going to be activating Ice Flows is if a pool spawns underneath us. We can move out of it without going out of our Rune of Power. So make sure when you're positioning yourself on your Rune of Power, you are on an edge of your Rune of Power. And then if one spawns underneath you, you just move over to the middle. One spawns underneath you, you move over to the other side. That way you don't have to keep recasting your Rune of Power. It will actually save you a couple global cooldowns and allow you to use Ice Flows and continue to DPS the boss. So that's a little bit of a tip there on how to use Rune of Power with those circles that spawn underneath you on this fight. But I hope that helps. Make sure you watch the rest of this kill video. I was a little rusty. This is my first fight as Arcane, so give me a little bit of a break. My rotation wasn't quite perfect, but the ideas are still there. Hope you like this one, and as always, see you in the next one.